I wanted to start doing a voice cast or podcast, I guess, because we live in the pod. Um, Voice cast. Yeah. I never really understood what they meant by podcast. Like, is it that you're in the pod? Many of us are in the pod, depending on what, your understanding of that is. My pod is large. It contains many instruments. I spend a lot of time in here, and it's kind of like a private, chaotic space for me. Um, and I don't feel that it's private exactly. It's because I'm often interacting with people here too, virtually, and that's a pod experience. A part of the experience. The overall experience, there's a lot more to it than podcasts and content creation and stuff like that, but we do it anyway because it uh, is nice to communicate, even if it's indirect. And I've really found that indirect exchange is a good way to work, or it can be, when you want to work with multiple people at once, for example, and you have like a message that works across, like a few people's kind of domain or spectrum, and you can work in a more public way that way, indirectly, and yeah, indirect exchange. That's kind of the idea here. Um, Introducing the idea. Uh, I'd probably have a camera set up and show you my unshaven mug at the same time. Although I think we can do without the camera, honestly. Like, it doesn't really matter. The talking head thing is pretty boring to me. Um, the, the, the podcast thing is a little bit heinous to me, too. Um, Alright, well, it's 3 minutes. That's a good introduction. A friend kind of suggested that I do a bit of gabbing and, do a thing. It was kind of like the way that it was suggested to me was like I took advice that someone was giving to someone else, but I kind of got in there almost like an Undercutter's Pizza podcast model where I'm like, I could do that, but faster and cheaper. Now, Tom Green wasn't really trying to sell a pizza. He was trying to make a comedy show. I really am trying to sell a pizza, though, if you know what I mean. It's a bit late at night, and I should probably, not talk forever. This is more like an introduction, where I'm going to see if anyone cares um, about this. A few people seem to care about a couple of things I've done. And if anyone wants to comment on this idea of indirect work or indirect communication or, uh, you know, or entertainment too. I mean, any recording is like that. Any recording is displaced in time. I mean, that's my experience of it anyway. It's not really like a real experience. It's defamiliarized, depersonalized level. Like, it's not personal in that way, but it can still be interesting and fruitful. Um, and I haven't really said anything yet. Um, and that's because the way this was suggested to me was more like as an aesthetic decoration of time using my spoken voice rather than my awful music. Um, and I agree, because the aesthetic notion of ideas, even if there is no idea, in fact, posited to the Swiss at all. No, I'm joking there. There's no idea that is presented. It's just words, they're floating in space, and it's up to the listener to kind of interpret them. And there's no real program here, right? And that's why programming has always been a challenge for me, because I'm not really into a program. I'm more like into a lack of program, where things are open and spacious and really open. That's kind of the main thing, and that's where, pre-networking, you know. Um, Networking is cool though. I kind of get it. Like, you have to have some selection. Otherwise, all right, 709. Okay. Next bad episode will be first order networking. Is that a good topic? Maybe there is a way that a person could respond, it doesn't matter who, and give me that oh so desired validation, saying that first order networking is a good topic. Because, I could just choose my own topics, but I don't know. I like engagement, or like, you don't have to engage, I don't have to engage. I like to engage, though. It is nice.